Good afternoon. Good
Good
evening.
afternoon.
Is it, what time is it there?
It's 2 p.m.
All right. How cold is it?
It's been the worst
Yeah.
winter ever. It's absolutely no snow. It's just raining and it's like 7 degrees Celsius every
yeah.
single day. So it's just wet and muddy and dark and foggy and mentally dark.
Well, how many hours of sunlight do you get this time of year in Norway?
6, maybe?
What does it start at like 10 a.m. and you're
Yeah.
good till about
4.
4 o'clock?
Yeah.
My God, dude. I don't know if I could handle that. God, no wonder why you become a hermit, dude.
Man. It's just, I've really noticed it this year that my hermit ability has just exploded. And I just remember all the things I used to do like during the day in the summer. And even though it feels very natural that we're like going into fall and we're going into winter and everything, but yeah, it's not for everyone, and it's definitely not for me.
Well, you got a good balance in the spring and summer. You tend to do outdoor activities, right?
Every single day.
Yeah. Yeah.
And last year I was like, summer is awesome, so I'm going to do something every single day. And I just did different outdoor activities almost literally every single day this summer. And that was a bad idea because, well, that's not possible now. And I remember how awesome it was and how shit this is.
Well, you could always take a trip to the U.S., you know?
I am definitely retiring in a very different country than this.
Yeah.
South.
As close to the equator as possible.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe like the Canary Islands or, I don't know, southern Spain or whatever.
Well, then you're going to get the Gulf Stream as long as it doesn't shut down or anything crazy. You'll get the warmth and the humidity from that, right? Well, happy holidays, dude.
Happy holidays.
I should get you in just before the end of the year. If anybody doesn't know who this is Alex Nakarada, fellow composer friend and Norwegian rock freaking, his stuff is awesome. Okay. The metal, I mean, look at the wall behind him. That's just a smattering of a few of the axes that he plays.
That's the beast I recorded the latest album with. It's my 7-string Ibanez.
Dude.
And I eventually managed to make it sound pretty good. Because when I bought it and started playing with it, I just loaded up the template I've been using for my old 6-string guitar. And that didn't work. So I was just thinking that this guitar sounds like shit. And then I realized I'm terrible at this. So I took a few hours and made some good templates for that guitar. And yeah, it sounds pretty chuggy now.
Well, it's amazing what a little holding back or coming back rather, and just taking the time to go through the tools that you have and learning them a little better, how much that'll improve your writing, your songwriting.
Yeah.
And that's definitely something I'm jumping into the first quarter next year. Like, dude, I didn't write, I published 275 tracks this year. Yeah. I mean, I love the response you gave me on Discord. It was like, you're fucking psycho. I go, yeah, I mean, I did promise myself I was going to breach 1,000 this year, and managed to do it about 45 days under the wire. Yeah, I've come up with like 1 or 2 ideas, but I've literally given myself the time and the break. I'm like, you don't have to do anything until after January 1, you know? Like, you hit the goal. Last year, it was 700, and I went to 727, and I was like, dude, I have to pull back a little. I can't. Like, it's insane.
I would be so creatively drained.
Yeah. Well, I am right now. I
can imagine.
You know, part of it too is, you know, how do you get inspired again after using a bunch of the same VSTs and everything? So I kind of went shopping, and I've promised myself, look, you get to the 1,000 mark, you can invest a few $1,000s into some of the high end stuff. So I think I told you in a text, I went after Cinesamples, you know, the everything bundle. It was on sale for like 50% off. And just for anybody that knows, but these are like high end, like the Lamborghini of VSTs and just awesome articulations, everything. They used to go for like over $10,000, and you can get it now when it's on sale for under $3,000, which is, I mean, it's a steal at that price.
I mean, it holds up with
Yeah.
time, that one.
Yeah.
I have to ask how many, because I have, I think, maybe 4 or 5 different libraries from Cinesamples, like Cinestrings, Cinebrass, Cinebrass Sonore, and Cineperk, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a big one. That was like 100 gigs.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
how much is in the complete package?
There's probably, I think it's 20 to 25 different separate VST pieces. You know what I mean? And I imagine some of the, I haven't fully explored it yet. Again, full disclosure, I bought it, installed it, took a break.
Yeah.
And it was like, I'm like, I will explore it. I will play. I probably won't even get through all the patches in the first couple quarters next year, because there's just too much. There's too much. But there's a lot. There's a lot of inspiration there.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah,
like,
ton.
I still haven't explored Damage 2 that I bought like 3 years ago.
Yeah. And that one's pretty gnarly. That one's
so good.
It's got a lot.
You just load it up and it's doing exactly what you want it to do. So there's no point exploring it yet.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of the standard patches in there and presets, they do the thing. You know?
It's insane.
And you could always, I do this thing in Logic where you can play some of those things, and if you want to vary it a little bit, then you just convert it to MIDI and pull certain parts out, and you can just step edit whatever the sequence is, and now you make it your own, right? You're like, maybe it's a little too busy with this low end percussion piece, and I'm just going to pull out, you know, every third or every other hit, and it makes something different.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Cubase has the same thing where you can convert one MIDI track to separate MIDI tracks for each, like.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can render those like in place to audio tracks and like play around with them and maybe remove some of them or stuff like that. I usually just like go around on the keyboard, like finding cool hits on the thing, and then I just fucking hit those as hard as I can for as long as I need to.
It is a cool thing. I honestly admit this, that I touch a certain level of my DAW. And because I don't do a lot of analog audio capture, I don't deal with that side of it. Once I do, if and when I do, it'll be a whole nother area that I explore and try to semi-master. But you know, like these things, you can never master these things. There's so many options on it. Your creativity is endless, and I love that. I love that about those. You know,
yeah, of course. And if I learn my DAW at the rate I've been doing so far, I will probably get to maybe 15% before I die. So there's absolutely no chance.
Yeah.
And like I've realized over the years that I am everything but a sound engineer. I know very little. Like I know how to put notes together. I know how to load up the instruments and do that. And that's about it. It's doing exactly what I wanted to do. So do I wish I knew more? Sometimes, but I mean, I don't need to.
No, not with the modern VSTs. They have a really good stereo mix already.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when you run into problems is when you pick 3 to 4 patches that are in the same stereo, in the same bandwidth, you know? And then I find myself saying, okay, what kind of work do I want this piece, this sound to do, right? And if it's more mid-range than it is the low, then I'll just do a low-pass filter and demuddy that low end, right? Same thing at the high end. Like maybe I'm picking a patch and I'm really liking how it cuts through on the high end, and then I'll just play with that. It's a really like 101 mixing approach to things, because I know like people get super surgical. They're like, no, strings should be in like this hertz to this hertz and blah blah. And I'm like, I'm not that technical. I listen
from it.
You know what I mean? I listen to it. If I like what I hear, great. That's how we're gonna produce that track.
Twist the knobs until it sounds like.
Yeah.
And that's
I have been guilty of adjusting an effect and having the bypass on. I'm like, why isn't it changing?
Me, who hasn't? I mean, you can bypass it like 17 different places. So, and a keyboard hit, some button is doing it. Maybe you misclick.
Yeah.
I've
Talk
been
about
doing-
being sheepish in front of yourself. I'm like, I just wasted 10 minutes of my time.
Yeah. 10 valuable minutes.
You know, and in the creative process, that's an eternity sometimes.
It
You
is.
know?
It is.
Man.
So much fun though with the metal Christmas album this year. Like
yeah,
more
how'd that go? Yeah.
years. So I mean I'm pleased with the outcome, definitely. But
Mhm.
it's like the joy I was feeling making it. That's been
Well, that's so important.
yeah, and it's been a while. When you're like you're unable to go to bed because you just want to compose that feeling.
Oh, that's a wonderful feeling. You're like, I know I need to rest, but I'm getting like boom, 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 boom. You know, one thing after another, excitement. How many tracks?
I think it was 8.
Perfect. That's my dude. That's my butter zone. Yeah, I feel like that's enough. That's enough to tell a story, and it's not so few that I feel like it's an EP and I'm not really exploring it, but not so many that some of the tracks get lost in the shuffle.
Yeah.
Right?
Agree.
Yeah.
I was thinking maybe like since I have some creativity left, I was thinking of making like maybe 2 more.
Mhm.
And do the thing that some people do that I don't really get when you like release like a digital deluxe edition or something on Spotify, like 2 or 3 additional tracks. I don't know why the fuck people are doing that since it's on Spotify anyways.
Right.
But, I mean, it's a good way, I guess, to like include the new tracks in the old album without pulling down the release.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, if they do a distribution from some like an automated one, like a DistroKid or a TuneCore or something like that, if you're using a service like Frequency where you actually have people, well, then they can surgically add or subtract things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is a natural evolution into that discussion. I will
Yes.
be doing that the first quarter of next year. I've reached a point where I've decided that I need real human beings as part of my distribution network. And I've already talked to Rutger about it. And after the new year, we're going to talk about conversion. Well, first of all, they have almost 3 times the distribution recipients that DistroKid has. And
what are there any important ones that DistroKid is not having?
I'll tell you right now,
Yeah.
Canva.
Really?
Yeah. So your music is in Canva. So if somebody's making a video or some kind of online content, you should absolutely do a how-to video on that and show people how to find your music on that platform. That's something I'm doing right now on all the platforms, because I think even for seasoned people, it's kind of hard to navigate, and then they just shove like the most played or the most popular stuff in your face, and people are inherently lazy. And I'm not saying that the people that use my stuff is lazy. It's just that, when you're making content and you're limited on time, you're going to pick the thing that makes sense and then something that's right away. But if you know how to search surgically for something and you're just taught how to do that, perfect. Well, same thing on that platform. I don't even know how to find it yet. Well, it's not on there yet because I have to make that transition, but you absolutely could. And I think you should promote that, because now it'll be layered into people's content officially on the platform, and that limits the amount. It doesn't completely eliminate, but it limits any kind of the content ID / weird flags that people will get on various platforms, because it's embedded with their own metadata,
Just it works.
Yeah.
Box. I will have to email Rutger and ask like what platforms they actually distribute to, because I have no idea.
I'll send you the spreadsheet when we're done with this.
Spreadsheet.
Yes, there's a spreadsheet of about 70 of them, and I'll share it with you, because I was asking him specifically for that. Hey, what if I do this? Where does it go? And it was a lot of places. Like some places know, like Roblox, I think, was one of them that you can't inject your stuff into, but they're an interesting one, because a lot of people are asking for Kevin's stuff on there. A lot of like his 50 most excitable pieces and everything over the years, but they curate it and they have a high turnover of employees. I literally got on LinkedIn Pro for 3 months trying to track somebody down and trying to give them the catalog, and everybody had moved on. But on LinkedIn, they still showed that they were an employee there. And I'm like, maybe update your LinkedIn, dude.
Yeah.
You know?
I actually have a few features there, but I don't know how people are using it.
Well, some end users can also upload content like that as well, which is plus and minus. I mean, you have royalty collectors that'll find it out there, but there's always the chance that somebody's doing something nefariously and collecting on your behalf, you know? So, I mean, if you've reached that level, you've kind of arrived. Somebody's trying to steal your shit. Yeah, you've kind of arrived, you know?
Yeah, happens often, I guess.
The other half of it for me, of the transition, is because I've become increasingly irritated with the Spotify platform. And to the level of they have taken and shown their true colors more and more. I mean, the foundation of the platform was not in support of independent artists, absolutely. You know, it was all corporatization of music and everything else, right? But the fact that they're trying to integrate like a remix and not pay the actual artist for those remix songs, and the end users can do that. And also, I mean, in 2024, if you've got tracks up there and they do less than 1,000 spins, you don't get paid on it. You know, not a dime. And they made that transition. And there's several other things going on. The podcast sliver of it is problematic. They do this default thing where you use music on it, and they'll just periodically or just arbitrarily take down podcast episodes for podcasters. And literally you can dispute it, and it goes into a void that either one thing or another happens, and there's nobody to talk to. It's really frustrating. I've had numerous people with Kevin's catalog get super frustrated, and I'm like, I just don't want anything to do with it anymore. I want to focus on, you know, Deezer or something else that is more artist-centric, you know?
It happens every time. Every time a platform gets that big, it just like has to prioritize the moneymakers instead of the small ones.
Yeah,
there was a sweet spot when they like started with DistroKid and everything to like actually when it became easy for smaller artists to actually get your music on Spotify. That was a very good time. And like people were able to make some like small cash for their streams and everything, but that is just it's become like a no thing where it's like YouTube basically.
Yeah.
Like if you're smaller than this and this and this, then there's nothing here for you.
Yeah. You have to show algorithmic value.
Yeah.
Before they start pushing more people into your equation. And let's face it, as music distributors and creators, our channels tend to be kind of a basket of things, right? My channel has the podcast, it has demo videos, it has YouTube shorts, it has all these things. And rightly so, the algorithm on YouTube is like, what the fuck are you? You know what I mean? I've gotten lucky recently with some consistent posting of content that it's starting to get an idea of who I am because of that consistency. And, you know, I rejected it for years on the premise that it was distracting me from the core of what I was doing, which is building a catalog. But now that I've hit 1,000, I literally want to build the administrative backend to all of it. So now it's about reach, usage, and collaboration. That's 2026 for me. And in a nutshell, those three things, right? Reach in the sense that how many people know who I am, usage in how do I encourage people to use the product and know that it's a safe bet because of the way that I distribute it, and then collaborating with other content creators so that we kind of do this mesh and we cross promote and everything. A lot of work, but the payout is huge, you know? The payout is huge, and the friendships you make are freaking cool. And the ideas you get from people are great. I've got a Reiki channel via Frequency, Olivia. I've done meditation tracks for her over the years, and this year I'm going to be doing like a sound healing thing. So specifically isolating certain frequency instruments or instrumentation and kind of building off of that for specific content for her. And I'm kind of excited about it. She suggested this book to me about, tones and frequencies and what they do and don't, like what they supposedly do for all that stuff. And it's just fascinating stuff. Fascinating. Like the whole idea of like vibration is like the foundation of the universe, right? Everything is vibration, we're just light slowed down and coalescing into matter. You can get real heady with this stuff.
Yeah.
But it's wild stuff, You start looking at
it's a big, I mean, it's a niche, but it's a big one. And a lot of people are looking for a certain like frequency music for their stuff. And I mean, there might be something there. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, that's the whole purpose, is to explore it for that reason alone. Like, let's see if this makes sense to spend some time on this and delve into it and explore it and experience it. Like, just like jumping into a genre I've never written before.
Yeah, it's something new, exciting stuff. I guess that's what we thrive for.
That was the spaghetti Western road I went down this year.
Yeah.
It was so much fun, dude. It was so much. I didn't realize how much fun I was going to have with it. I'm like, I'm not really into spaghetti Westerns or like old Western movies or anything, but this was freaking cool. I'm like, I feel like I'm making the soundtrack to Red Dead Redemption 3 or something.
Yeah, it's the comment you get when you post a spaghetti Western song. I feel like, but kind of back to the whole, because now you have released 1,000 pieces of music, which is like, actually it's more than you need for what you're doing, right?
Sure.
It's the same with me. It's like I'm at, I don't know, 650 or 700 or something.
Yeah.
And it's like, I feel like now when I release music, I'm basically doing it for the 20 people who are excited to see a new release.
Yeah.
So I'm not building a business anymore when I make music. I'm just like keeping my followers happy.
Right. Yeah, because they want to see consistency. They want to see something new. It's funny, especially with the whole Patreon thing, which we can get into in a minute, but with specific followers on platforms that, accentuate that, you've got people that are like, okay, what's the next nugget? So I'm one of the cool kids that's using it first, and experiencing it and delving into it with my content and everything. And it's fun to watch, because I've released things and they've landed on deaf ears. And of course, it's like one of the ones I was like, man, I really spent a lot of cool time on this. I feel like
this is the one.
Mechanically, I did a really good job with this, and it feels to me like it's going to resonate. And then the one track from the album that I hesitated to even release, like, that's the one that people are like, oh, dude, this is your best work ever. I'm like, really? Like, what about it did that for you?
Yeah.
Like, and then that exploration, Alex, is like the funnest part of it too. It's like, wow, like what was it? Was it that I didn't mess with it too much and that it had a raw feeling? There's a lot of that.
I honestly think that's the thing.
Yeah.
I think the joy and fun you had making it, I actually think that kind of shines through to the audience in a weird way that I can't really explain. But it's like the moment I start to get technical on the stuff that I make, it just flops, dude. It's too artificial.
Yeah, there's an ether in it or something that you scrape away if you overproduce it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's not to say that mainstream music, I mean, pop music is super produced, right? But that lands differently because of all the money behind it, shoving it in your face, saying, this is the new best thing. This is the new best thing. You're sleeping. You wake up. Did you forget? This is the new best thing. This is the new, so your brain is just like ingrained with it. Whereas,
I mean, that's not even the music industry anymore. That's a different level than what we're at and ever going to be at.
That's just marketing,
Just marketing, and it's just like the machinery behind the song. It's not even a song, it's a product. So it's a bad comparison to even like think that we're in the same area of the music industry.
You and I could do this tomorrow. And I'm not trying to be like all highfalutin and thinking like, I'm amazing. I could do a mainstream album tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. I could look at the algorithmic composition of, say, the top 100 songs of the last 5 years. I could rip them apart and take the elements and make a 7-8 track album and see how it goes. I bet you it would do pretty decently. And I might actually do that experiment. I don't think I'd feel valuable doing that forever, only because I don't think that conveys a novel musical channeling of like my true talent. You know what I mean?
It's an experiment for
Yeah.
the reasons, I guess.
Yeah. Kind of like playing around with some of these AI tools. So let's hit that. Let's hit that for a second.
Yeah, because I was going to say that what you're experimenting might not work as well now as it used to do because of AI and because of Suno, because that's exactly what Suno is doing. Not Suno. Is it Suno? It's
That's
Suno.
the premier one. And then I think Udio is far inferior to it, but it is a secondary tool. There's constantly other new stuff coming on the scene, but Suno's the big thing. I mean, Warner's agreement with them, and clearly like it's an equity stake they've acquired in lieu of the class action that they had against them for all the stuff. Like, they're just going to be the gatekeepers of it. So they're going to produce like anything produced in there. This is speculative, understand that, but I can only imagine corporatizing that tool is going to ultimately channel all the revenue through Warner Music, and they're going to be the gatekeepers for all that. So if you have a subscription next year and the terms of service change, likely you don't have the rights to that. You know, in fact, right now, even with people argue with the pro account, like, yeah, it's yours to use forever. Yeah, until there's a lawsuit that specifies that song that sounds a lot like Taylor Swift was actually trained on Taylor Swift stuff, and now those royalties that you think are coming to you, they're not. They're going to her because they lost the suit because they still haven't disclosed what they trained on. It's not a human being, so they won't. You may not even be able to get royalties because it's a very strange place, right?
Yeah. It is a strange place. It's a new place, and the big dogs are going to win it for sure because they
have the biggest pockets.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
they got all the lawyers and
I mean that part of the industry, like how the music industry is going right now, it's like almost making me ashamed of calling myself a musician. So I've transitioned to, I'm not really a musician. I am more like I would say a content creator or something. Just a guy who is taking something that other people enjoy. And that's my take.
We can use this phrase. I thought about this a few years back, and it's actually, I think, on my website, and it was on business cards I think it might even still be, Sonic Magician.
Yeah. Why not? That's way better.
Some of the tracks that I come out with, I'm like, yeah, I don't know where the hell that came from. That's I must be channeling magic because that shit's crazy. I don't even know, like, and those, what mornings that happens with? It's usually I'm half asleep. I'm not animated like I am right now because 2 coffees in, I'm like, woo, I'm not even animated yet. And I'm like, I suck. I don't even know if I can come up with anything. Holy shit. What is that? What? And then blink, 2 hours are gone. 75% of the song is done. What just happened?
Anyway, yeah.
Those are the best writing segments, best mornings.
It's not my most popular song as well. It's just something I made in a rush when I realized that a song I made was like hitting the right audience.
Mm-hmm.
So when I started like playing around with the fantasy stuff, which was basically just me like channeling my 25 years of like creativity into one song and just getting that instant feedback and just seeing like how it got picked up by a lot of people, and you get the comments, and I just like, okay, people like this, so I have to do more. And I just, in maybe an hour, had made another song, and it was just channeled from my brain into my hands and into the DAW. And like 7, 8, 9 years later, that's still my most heard song by far. So it's just that it has to be like real.
Yeah, authentic, right?
Yeah,
It has to be an authentic thing flowing through you, even if it's not you. I honestly question, Alex, sometimes if the music has anything to do with me. It's just, I hear something in my head and I try to emulate and translate that the best of my ability, you know? And I don't know where it's coming from, but I don't care. Like, that's not even the point. The point is can I make that happen? And try again and again and again and again. And I think it's just reps, man, which is why I focus so much on getting to that 1,000. Number one, it's a massive milestone in royalty-free space, right? But also, it's repetition. Are there some tracks that are forgettable? Absolutely. I'm not gonna say that, they're all bangers. They're not. To some people, they like most of my stuff, which is great. But, I am the most critical person of my own stuff. I can release an entire album and be like, I don't fucking know. I don't know if I like any of these. By the way, 275 tracks, objectivity, out the window. I'll release another album and genre mix, right? I did a Dreamcore album. I had a comment from a guy on YouTube a couple days ago, and he was saying, specifically, he was like, yeah, Dreamcore. He's like, I don't know if this is like, a lot of these were disturbing. And I'm like, it's comment ever. Love this. I go, yeah, I was in the middle of several genres, probably bled in to each other a little bit, but that's the novelty of doing that, right? Like, you take a genre into a little bit different space, and the right part of your tribe, or the tribe that hasn't found you yet, is like, this dude did Dreamcore, but it's almost like Nightmare Dreamcore or something. It's like this little flavor, you know? And if some people like it, some people reject it, it's fine. All that feedback is valuable, I love it to
That's it. Once they actually take the time to comment on the video, that it has done something. And this new annoying trend where people are making a short or a reel or something, and they on purpose pronounce something wrong in that to like get people to comment that. And once those comments start coming in, you get into the algorithm like this, because received like 200 comments like pointing out that mispronunciation, and that's all you need.
Yeah, that bait and switch, or it's not really bait and switch, but it is a manipulation.
It is.
Absolutely.
Works.
I struggle with that personally, because I never want to come across as inauthentic in my music or my content, right? Yeah. If something's fun, I will absolutely do it because I find it fun. Here's an example. I'm currently playing around with micro content, like not just shorts, but like super shorts, like 10 seconds, maybe 15. You're familiar with Cartoon Network / Adult Swim, like the nighttime at like Archer, Rick and Morty, all that stuff, right? If you stream that or watch that on their platform and not just separate, you'll see like the interspersed commercials, but you also see the platform-based commercials, like the Adult Swim commercials. And they have these little 10-second, 15-second, intermezzos that are a little animation, doesn't change the location, but it's usually some kind of animation. Maybe it's or it's like a real life video of like a gazelle by a body of water, but there's like a death metal song in the background, or it's, a train going by and it's this really funky club tune, right? All this weird juxtaposition of like a song that doesn't fit the scene. And I found those fascinating, right? And to the point that I'm like, I want to make content that takes my piece of music against maybe an AI generated video or something like that, and literally take it with Sora and do something weird and or VO3 or something, you know what I mean? Like, and just have this thing in the background. You know, it's a rain scene with some freaking pomegranates hanging from a tree, and you know, there's a heavy orchestral piece behind it. It's like just stuff like that where people are like, "What am I watching?" And then you know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? And then it just got TKFM somewhere in the background because Adult Swim does that. It has like like you're looking around. It's like, where's Waldo? You know, where's the Adult Swim thing? And then it pops out for 3 seconds.
I've never seen this.
No, I'll have to send you.
If you watch like Rick and Morty, for example, on Adult Swim's streaming service. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
if you watch it on their network TV type of service, I'll find the link. There's a bunch of YouTube archives out there that specifically. Apparently, I'm not the only one that finds them fascinating because people have captured them over the years and been like, "Yeah, this is season 6." You know, interspersed, you know, Adult Swim commercials, blah, 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 and then it'll show them to you. So, but some of my content is shifting to that. I also have a bunch of promo stuff. I'm like, literally, I have 1,000 tracks to back promo. So I have no limit of little videos to do to show my stuff in action. But here's the big thing. I did another piece just last week with The Witcher and did a different song to show like behind a fight scene, and it blew up. I mean, for me, it was like 14,000 views or something like that on YouTube for YouTube Shorts in like 48 hours, right? And for me, that's big. And it was organic. I didn't promo it, nothing, you know? And I'm like, I got to do more of this because if the algorithm picks me up, it's going to push people to my channel. I'll get a fraction of a % of people to stick around and follow and everything else. But like, dude, it's the era of attention. You have to find ways to entertain and show people what you do, right? Yeah. I mean, your channel has grown by leaps and bounds in the last 3 years. You know, I'm like,
Promos.
Is that what you did?
Yeah. I don't know, 5 releases or whatever. I've put in like $100.
Yeah.
Just to like, I'm trying to get to the 100K mark, and it works. It works.
Yeah, I'll have to talk to you. You know, I don't want to bore our audience with the technicals of that. I'll have to talk to you sometime offline about that because that's definitely something I'm looking to do in 2026 as well. Is to build that audience base, but not. I'm assuming you use on platform advertising. Yeah. I've been hit or miss with that as far as quality subs. Anybody out there watching this, even using the platform advertising, you can get what's called, you know, low quality subs.
Yeah.
From that process.
I assume that's what most of it is.
Yeah. And they'll come on and then you'll have what I call like sub shedding over the course of the next few weeks or few months. They'll just disappear for right reason. If initially they thought something appealed to them and then they see the overall spectrum of your content and it may not resonate with them for whatever reason. It's fine. It's fine. Because you just don't know. I mean, how else are you going to get into people's faces? Right.
Exactly.
You know, you have to use the tools of the system to promote and to get eyes and ears on what you're doing. And
yeah, I mean, it's just that number. It just motivates me. And I think it also it's like snowballing a little bit. So once it gets bigger, then more people are going to actually click the subscribe button because they think that like the content is worthy. Because like if you watch content and it's like if you watch the exact same video on a 1,000 subscriber channel and a 2 million subscriber channel, it's like it feels like it's a psychological thing where you feel like it appeal, or you find it better if it's a big channel than a small channel, just because that's a lot of people do the same thing.
Right.
There's just like a sheep mentality that all harm.
There is the cool kid club thing that still happens where a smaller channel, if you were there from the get-go, you feel like you were in the know before anybody else, right? But you're absolutely correct in that a 1 million plus channel subscriber base, there's an expectation or even an assumption that anything comes out is a higher quality and a higher bar.
Yeah.
Even if it isn't, even if it's the same level like you just said, that you're in a much bigger pool of people that feel the same as you do. So it justifies you spending time with that channel and that content and supporting it and engaging it. And I think you're absolutely right. But it's got to be a interesting balance between authentic organic growth and advertising and promotion that is not flat out, a wall of cell phones somewhere in the Middle East, and just you have 20,000 new subs overnight. Like that's garbage. And I think the platforms know that.
I think they do it.
Yeah.
I think I feel, I don't know. I don't know if YouTube actually provides me like real people. It's very hard to say because they give you an estimate before you pay. Like, pay this much, you're going to get that many. If you pay that much, you're going to get that many. So I honestly don't know if they actually provide me with real people or just like their own bots or whatever.
Which the latter would be really disappointing, honestly.
Really disappointing and extremely unethical, but
yeah. Well, talking about that and coming back to Spotify, had you heard that claim that Drake had actually had paid bots to up some of the singles?
Yes.
And there was some kind of lawsuit associated with that. Well, the way Spotify apparently works is that there's one big pool, right? Because all of it is based on subscriptions, right? And that means there's a finite amount of money on that platform. So based on your volume of listens, that's how that pool of money is going to get separated. And then obviously shareholder, everything else, and those people come first. So, and guess who some of the biggest shareholders are? Warner Music, Sony, because that's how it started out from the beginning, right? And but there's some complaint that because they're a AAA tier music producer and musician, that there's a blind eye served to that, because it's serving shareholder wealth, it's shareholder value and wealth to promote that artist and to keep that artist relevant. Whereas you or I do some promo with some service that claims to be organic, never are. It's always some bot farm or some cell phone farm. And, they know the algorithm in the background, and they could strike you and not give you the royalties, and even worse, pull your entire album off of there, So, I mean, it's gamed, and it's frustrating. So that's why I'm going to defocus there, because there's just it's not adding any value to me, and it's not adding any value to my fan base or the people that care about my music,
Yeah. I mean, the people who search for you are still going to be able to search for you, and the songs they have put in the playlist or whatever is still going to be there. That's what that platform is for me as well. Like a convenient place for people to find it.
I wanted to come back to frequency for a bit, because a while back you did a conversion for all your distribution, royalty collection, all that stuff on that platform. Tell me how technically that's working out for you as far as distributing with them. Like, what's the process that involves?
It's extremely simple. I have made a folder on my Dropbox, and Rutger gave me a spreadsheet. I typed the album name, the song name, when I want it released, and the link to the Dropbox, and he fixes.
Oh, that's fantastic. So it all happens in the background on your behalf when you're ready to roll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes, I don't think he's checking it, so I'm emailing him, saying that there are some new files that I want distributed, and that folder contains the WAV file and the artwork.
Okay. Yeah, because you put up, for other people out there, when we put it on streaming platforms, we try to put the best quality, even though MP3s are really high quality nowadays. If you're doing 320K,
I can not hear the difference anymore.
No, but what they do on the platform to compress so that the bandwidth isn't completely gobbled up by these WAV files, they do the same thing with the MP3s. So there might be some loss when it comes to the MP3s it's negligible to most ears, but a true engineer is going to hear the difference, and it's going to sound like a lower quality. So,
and I can also hear the difference between a free Spotify account and a paid Spotify account, because different quality on the songs.
You get that digital artifacing on the back end. And it's like, yeah. And old school streaming music, you're just like, it's like underwater, right?
Yeah.
It's this weird thing that's just like
LimeWire downloads.
Oh my God, do you remember that? Dude, that Napster. It's gonna ruin the music industry, blah, blah, blah. You know?
For who? Exactly.
Yeah. Well, that's just the thing. With our model, dude, I mean, I honestly think like it's self-reinforcing, but I think it is the future because, I mean, the idea of touring and trying to push a physical piece of media and getting people to your shows and pushing music that way just sounds exhausting to me.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the touring part is never going to end. That's going to happen because people love going to concerts.
Yeah, live music is still the shit. It's where it's at. Unfortunately, I never really when I did it, I enjoyed it, but I knew long term it wasn't something sustainable for me energetically.
Go to shows?
No, to perform, to go around and do that because it requires
effort.
Yeah, it requires effort for sure, but it also requires, constant collaboration. And I have my hermit stages too. Like I'm not gonna disallow the fact that some of my best stuff comes when I'm just alone and contemplative and I'm quiet enough to allow things to come in, right? Other people work better working on teams constantly. And no shame on that and no strike against that. It's just I know how I function best.
Right. And it's like most people cannot stand the thought of hearing themselves think.
Yeah.
And I literally need to hear myself think to be creative, even though it's like not always the best idea to like trap myself in my own head. It's necessary for me to produce.
Yeah.
So once I'm in a team, I just can't hear the notes in my head. And that fucks up everything.
Yeah. There's a rare exception if we're just like jamming out. There's been a couple times up in Wisconsin on a trip up there that three of us are hanging out. There was one time me, Kevin, and CJ were just hanging out and we're switching between bass guitar, piano, and the drums, right?
Yeah.
And
that's
just
extremely fun.
Messing around, noodling around, and I'm like, oh, wow, I can improvise. I forgot I could do this, and like, it's not great, but it's fun, like I'm hearing the key signature and I'm playing around and oh, this is beautiful. I mean, I have sometime in January, I'm going to be setting up a podcast with an old high school music teacher of mine, this guy, John Smeda. And he's the guy that taught me all that. I literally was in a theory class for like 2 days, freshman year of high school. Nobody had tried out for the rock band, which was a replacement to the jazz band for school, for keyboards, and they needed somebody. So my buddy Marty comes in. He's like, hey, Mr. Smeda, the music teacher, needs to talk to you for a second. And it was a complete ruse because he pulls me out of the class and brings me in. We go into the studio where they quote unquote learn a new tune, literally have a CD in the CD player and they're playing it. And John's like, hey, Tim, nice to meet you, blah, blah, blah. Like, we're learning Carry On Our Wayward Son, by Kansas right now. And he's like, oh, we're figuring out the chords and stuff. And I go, what? I literally just got pulled from a class that had it all written down, right? Like all the sheet music, everything else. And he's like, okay, we want to look for the root of the chord. So he's like sitting there. He's like, okay, there's a G, there's an A, and he formed the chords, major, minor, blah, blah. And I'm like, what are you doing? And I'm like, this is learning a song? Like, I thought we needed sheet music. 3 weeks later, I wanted nothing to do with sheet music because I was like, I can do that. I can hear that, And the second that started firing off in my brain, I was like, God, this is so much better. This is exactly how my brain thinks, We did so much cool. I'm going to get into more detail with the interview with him, but we recorded in big time studios. Like, I don't think I've recorded in studios at this level since high school, which is crazy to say because, well, honestly, I don't have to. At home, I have a setup that, and I'm sure yours is very similar in the sense that it's a high-end studio that doesn't require all those other bells and whistles. In fact, that stuff's becoming obsolete because you can just do it with a DAW and a freaking converter, you know?
You can. I mean, all the things on the wall, the drum kit behind me, the guitars, everything, that's something I have because it's fun.
Yeah.
I don't need it. I mean, it's fun to play. And also the drums, I play them for an hour every day, man. And I don't do anything with it. I'm just playing. And I'm having a blast playing it.
Yeah. I mean, that was another thing. There were, not every song in that class had keys on it. So I'd be in the room when they're practicing some big metal tune or whatever, or just some straight up rock that doesn't require any piano. It's not even in the mix somewhere. There's a practice room that a guitarist or a bassist would come to, and I'd jump on the drum set, and I sucked. To this day, I'm still not great, but I can definitely hold a beat, and you learn the coordination and everything. And I would sit there and I would do all that, and it just forced your brain to like learn other things. I would do that. I'd learn guitar, bass, vocals. I sang vocals on tunes in high school and everything. Could still do that today, and in fact, it's still on the horizon. But the core of my production surrounds instrumental stuff because it's in essence production music. So you don't want to distract from the narrative over the top of it or anything, But yeah, dude.
I was extremely curious and happy kid. Just everything I know about music is just from me spending hours and hours and hours playing stuff, like picking up the instruments, like running home from school to play the guitar because it's fun, right? And honestly, I don't want it to be in another way, like the extremely technical part that people have like an ear for music, and then they go to school and music school and they teach all the stuff there and teach the scales and everything. I mean, those people are probably able to produce something like smarter than we are, but I feel like the authenticity,
Yes. Yeah.
it's like,
don't worry, I wouldn't be able to speak a word of Norwegian. Yeah.
Kingdom language.
No. So the fact that you speak this well, it's not your first language, is applaudable.
My whole fucking neighborhood is English speakers now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some days I actually speak more English than Norwegian.
Yeah.
Because all I say in Norwegian is like, no, thank you, if they ask me for like a bag or a receipt at the store. Yeah. Anyways, the authentic part of music is what makes it fun for me. And I think it feels like you're the same way. And it's just...
Absolutely. No, there's an interest going forward. Now that I've hit the 1,000, there's an interest of pulling back in the set. I don't even want to call it that. What do I want to... There's an interest in exploring some of the technical aspects of music and music formation to twist my future pieces into a more creative space and evolve the process. Not take the helm, but just infuse another little spice into everything, right? I don't know about you, but I tend to fall into specific key signature patterns when I write stuff. And it's not on purpose. It's you want to come back to something I said the first 5 minutes we talked. It comes back to like vibration. It comes back to something that resonates with me. And it's like a certain key signature and major, minor, whatever. It makes me feel a certain way, and it's something that I know I can emulate well. But pushing the envelope and pushing yourself to something different. I did a single this year that was, Asian music and inspired. And that's a very interesting key signature. Having that, it's like, I forget what mode it would be, and incorporate, major, minor with a couple, like something half step, blah, blah, blah. You get to that point.
I just call it Oriental scale.
Yeah. And I just sound like I don't know anything about music the second I start trying to describe it, because I do it on feel. I don't do it on technicality, right? And I literally have 2 posters in front of me that show like every chord progression, every scale.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
I'm thinking of getting the mouse pad.
yeah, that's cool too. You know,
Can
like
I just give you an extremely good example of this? Because like I'm the exact same way. I'm dumb as fuck, but I shine through every now and then. So I used to play this game called Garry's Mod, which was like the first like sandbox first person game that came on Steam. And you could literally do anything. You had like 10,000 objects and different tools to do things with them. And once I figured out how to make a thing, I made like a cannon with like some TNT barrels or whatever. And literally for 10, 15 years, I kept uninstalling and installing that game thinking I would like invent the wheel again. I always made that fucking cannon because it was the only thing I knew properly how to do. So 10 years after the first time, I installed the game again thinking like, yeah, I'm gonna do something new. I just want a sandbox creativity game where I can do shit. And I end up doing the exact same thing. Because it's the only thing I know how to do well.
well, did you improve on the cannon every time?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Not even a little bit. I made it the exact same way I always had. So that's like sometimes I get like these rush of creativity that makes me like maybe learn new thing but then I can spend the next 10 years doing the exact same thing, but with slight improvements, of course. But if it works the first time, I'm just too stubborn to let it go and too lazy to learn something new.
That parallels with me with passive content, like watching TV or a movie or something like that. I find as I age that I gravitate towards things I've already seen because there's a sense of like I'm trying to recreate that feeling, right? And there's a safety thing. And like I think throughout the day, you need little moments of grounding, right? And I know that's what's going on because like I've watched some episodes I don't even watch them. I hear them in the background and it plays in my head and I'm usually doing something else. It's a passive watch, like reruns of Archer, right? They're hysterical. I think they're like the writing's so good, the comedy's so good that I could listen to them over and over and over again. And there's a soothing mechanism to it. And I think it might be like, dude, you want to get really heady about it? It's probably a vagus nerve thing in your body.
Think so.
You know what I mean? That it brings you to a place of calm because it's familiar and all that. And we're bombarded by, social media and advertisements and everywhere we go, even just going out shopping, you're like social cues and all this kind of stuff. And it just becomes overwhelming. And it's like you can relax, like this is familiar. This is a place, Bloom. And maybe that's a function of an undiagnosed condition that I have.
I'm scared to go to like a therapist to like get a word on this, but I think it's a thing.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. It works.
Because it does the thing, right?
I can be a hermit, so it's
man.
So weird though. Why are we doing this? Why are we so scared of like new things? And that's it was so fun being a kid because time was not a thing. It was just like awake time and sleep time. That was it. And for some of those hours, you have to be somewhere.
I get kicked out at 8:30 in the morning. Get out of here during the summer. Summer was part of that. At least this is my memory. It could be completely fabricated at this point because it was so freaking long ago. But literally, I remember my parents, specifically my mother, kicking me out and being like, "Go out and play." And then when I was hungry, I found food somewhere, whether it was at a friend's house or come back home to eat when I'm hungry. Nobody was calling you. Nobody was like looking to find out where you were. As long as I was home before the street light came on, I was fine. I could hear my father's voice like neighborhoods away, and I'm like, shit, if that happens and that, like, I'm not going to be able to play freely like that for a week. You know what I mean? So you always had to be mindful where the sun was. Like, oh, I got to get home, guys. I'm going to be slammed if I don't show, And then that was it. Today, like, we are constantly at people's beck and call. Like, why didn't you text me back? Blah, blah. I'm like, dude, because I was busy. You know,
You dude,
like
you're not that important. You didn't even ask a question.
Yeah.
You sent me a statement and you expect
And you want a response. You were so accessible. That's another thing too. That come back to the vagus nerve thing, Flash, familiarity. I think that's another thing too, is that we allow ourselves to have all this accessibility. I think it's really important to take time and just, I haven't looked at the phone in the hour and 6 minutes that we've been talking. Like the first time I've picked that up. And you should block out times of the day. You literally put that away. If your watch rings too, get that off. Go do something else,
Yeah, I was enabled. I had a Google Watch for a while, but it was fucking vibrating all the time. I'm busy or I'm not in the mood.
Yeah.
Don't talk to me now.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a valid response. That doesn't mean that's not a personal response. I think people take that stuff too personally. That
I don't care.
When you're
don't respond. I mean, unless it's something extremely important, which is rarely the case. But I mean, if people don't respond, they didn't want to or couldn't or whatever. It's fine.
Well, they have their own lives. That's another thing. People forget. People are so myopically focused on their own life and their own feelings that they feel like they're the center of the universe all the time. And that's just that's an unfortunate artifact of existing. You know what I mean? Like, we're all in our own universe. You know, it's evident the way that some people communicate.
Yeah.
And you just have to remind yourself, like, I'm not that important.
Really not. No.
I'm the most important thing to me.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm not even the most important thing to my wife. She is.
Right.
Of course. Would I take a bullet for her? Maybe in the moment. I don't know, but I mean, when I can be my own being, I am, and as long as I'm happy, then I got the energy to make other people happy.
Yeah. So what's on your agenda this year, man? What are you thinking about doing 2026?
So I need to schedule my life better. But I am definitely gonna do slightly the same as you, explore more, not feeling the rush to post music and maybe even spend a couple of days on a song or a week and just learn new things and play the drums. I'm gonna play a lot of drums. Maybe I even find the time to buy a drum microphones and record some of it.
Nice. I've toyed around with an electric kit. I've toyed around with the idea of doing that.
I've bought and sold so many of those.
Really?
Yeah. It's just not the same.
Yeah.
And it's so much easier just programming them with a keyboard or a mouse or whatever.
Yeah.
I tried to do it for the fun of it, but it's not the same.
Right.
It's that is drums.
Yeah, the acoustics, the full.
Yeah.
Yeah, the void.
Piss off neighbors, fucking.
Well, that's it for me. I live in a 6-unit spread of townhomes, and I'm an N unit, so I have a neighbor next door, but I think I would violate the noise ordinance here. So I'd have to evolve to a single unit house that is a single level down here in Florida, which in Florida they do block wall construction. So you have, masonry blocks, the full size ones, and it really cuts down on the sound. So is that in my future? Probably,
Why don't you and Kevin just rent the place, rent the storage building or whatever, and buy instruments and do some jams and maybe
totally do that,
record setup or whatever, just like a small studio space where you can make as much sound as you want any time of the day. Just sometimes you want to compose in your apartment, sometimes you want to compose there.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea.
Good idea. Convincing
him to. I mean, he's pretty that is a conservative aspect of his personality. He does not spend money, occasionally, and it's a good quality to have if you want to build wealth, for sure. You don't want to. Most people tend to spend in excess of what they earn, and that's where you run into problems, right? Yeah, you want to, and I know when your traction started to hit, you're like, dude, I'm living way under my means, dude.
Get those numbers away from me. It's insane, dude. I'm never gonna like adapt to wealth.
But
I'm just raised differently, I think.
yeah, yeah.
It's like fucking scary.
No, true wealth, and I know I'm repeating things I've read, but it's also part of my being too. Is true wealth is silent. True wealth is the peace of knowing that you have enough to sustain you and to sustain you for multiple years in the future, regardless of what you're doing presently. And there's a piece to that I think once you attain that and once you get there, that is absolutely a fundamental thing that all humans should be able to achieve and should be able to appreciate, because that I have to go to work for the rest of my life. I mean, most of us still have to do that on some level, or the have to turns to want to, and
Yeah.
then it's not really work.
Yeah.
And then that's that's truly living. Then every day is an adventure. Every day is you're living the thing that you want to live. You're experiencing what you want to experience. And
Yeah. At the same time, it's kind of difficult to reach that level. Especially, I feel like it was for me because like the second the money kept rolling into my account and I had like more than I could spend, I was just feeling my heart rate just dropped by 10 in average. I
Yeah.
just calmer, I get more peaceful, I felt safer and everything. But after a while, once you get kind of used to it and you just stay at home all day, you make content for the internet or whatever, at least for me, I felt like I started to lack a purpose.
Mm.
It's like, because I have to fill every single hour of the day by myself. And I'm not really doing anything. I feel like I am.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people are enjoying the stuff that I make and stuff like that. But it's like that gratification you get over the internet. It's not the same as like a thank you face to face.
Right. Right.
So the sense of purpose kind of fell off a little bit, I think. I don't know. It's a hard place to be in. But of course, like once you start thinking of it, you're extremely thankful that you're able to do this full time and everything.
Well, that's where the gratitude comes into place, I think. You know, getting out there and thanking fans, you know, thanking people using your stuff. I feel tremendous when I do that. Also, I think being self-employed requires a level of self-urgency that you absolutely have to put in place. And then you have to treat that as the most important thing. Like, and you cannot falter with it. And even when you do, you can't beat yourself up about it. You just have to remind yourself that there is no yesterday. There is no tomorrow. There's only this moment. And what do you choose to do right now? If you choose to rest right now, that's fine. Rest, and rest in knowing that that's the choice you made, right? Or if you choose to blow off work for a week or whatever, like I'm blowing off writing music till the end of the year. I probably will do little trinkets here and there, but I'm specifically making that choice. And I know the grand scheme of things is, again, come back to the battery, right? My battery is runneth dry. Like I absolutely need to recharge my creative battery. And because of that, I'm self-aware enough to know when I need to take a break and when I've pushed and pushed and pushed. The last 3 singles I released to get to 1,000 were the most excruciating of everything else I did this year, because it took 2.5 weeks to make the determination that I'm not making another 8-song compilation. I just got to get 3 tracks out and I'm done, because if I push through the 8, I'm going to be done for 3 months. And I don't want to lose my momentum. Like, I want to continue to be productive. I don't want to burn a hole in part of who I am creatively just because of a number I want to reach. Right? But I still want to be authentic to my urgency and my self-management. I'm my worst critic. I'm my worst manager. Like, I'm like, go, 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 go. Let's go. But like right now, it's like, just freaking, just enjoy the ride, man. More often than not, Alex, I am more focused and present in the journey than the destination. When I hit the 1,000, I was like, huh, I got more to say. It's something I got to celebrate because My audience is going to be interested in it. My podcast, that episode popped, you know, just based on the title of it alone. People have been listening to me squawk about hitting 1,000 for months. You know, it's been a hashtag for 2.5 years. Road to 1,000 songs.
Really?
You know, yeah, road to 1,000 songs. Now it's road to 2.
You think you have it in you?
I have at least 2, 3. Who knows? You know, I tell everybody I talk to, I'm going to do this till I die, which is hopefully a long time from now. I have plenty of doctors that are making sure that that's the case. You know what I mean? Like, I got my cholesterol under control. I've got, you know, I know what is in my arteries. I've had full scans, you know, because my dad had bad heart disease, but he also had lifestyle choices that didn't contribute well
Yeah.
to his arteries, right?
Really,
Yeah. So I don't do those things, and it shows in the scans. You know, I have what would probably be equated to reasonable plaque for my, like, there's one spot that's like 16%. And in the grand scheme of things, cardiac wise, that's negligible, but needs to be managed because LDL will just creep up and start building on that. And who knows, dude, we're in an era where we may be able to take a pill in 15, 20 years with nanites in it that go into your arteries and are like, hey, that's plaque. We're going to eat that, you know? And then you pee those out, you know?
Yep.
That's what I hope anyway. That's what I want.
Shit is going to happen.
I want nanites to clean me from the inside out, you know? Just don't eat my liver or something and kill me.
Yeah, the first few years it's probably going to happen.
Well, I'm not going to be phase 1. That's for damn sure.
I mean, that's fucking health. It's also so important.
Yeah.
And it's also important to like stay uplifted mentally.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's good. It's good that you're monitoring this.
Yeah.
I've done the same thing.
Are you
like check me out and see if anything should be fixed?
Yeah.
But I'm fine.
Blood work is key. Even like not even standard. I imagine Norway's progressive in that way. You probably look at more than just your standard blood panel and metabolic, but I look at hormonal stuff. I look at all the stuff to see where I'm at in those places. Any precursor markers for cancer, precursor for like PSA, even that's like, you know, prostate, that kind of thing. You know, make sure that if that number creeps up, that's an indication that either your prostate's enlarging or like you may have a, you know, precancerous or cancer thing going on. That's the biggest thing for us dudes, you know, most common and most treatable, by the way. So yeah. So if you stay on top of it and you catch it in early stages, you can get rid of it, you know. But it also comes back to lifestyle. Like I stopped eating American bread for the most part.
Good.
Because, you know,
very good.
Stripping all the stuff and then re-adding it is the fucking worst thing. I understand the shelf life thing, but not at the expense of my personal health, you know. I still have pizza. You know, I still go out. I still have that from time to time. It's just not a daily staple anymore. I find different paths for that stuff. And
so fucking good, though. That's the problem.
Yeah. Yeah. It's delicious. And it's addicting. You know?
It's very addictive.
It makes you come back to it.
Delicious carbs.
It's just lovely.
Yeah.
Absolutely lovely. Well, dude, it's been great catching up.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you making the time today. And man, I can't wait to see what's going to pop for you, myself, and all of us in this space in the next year and beyond. I honestly, truly feel, Alex, that this should be the future of people thinking that they're going to pop and get signed or whatever. I don't see that path. I don't. I think if you want to tell a story, this royalty-free space and making your music available to content creators, that's the key. And
they are the future.
Yeah. Yeah. That's going to be that's where people that can't do anything else and are creative, they're going to shine in that space. And I think that space is just going to continue to open up for people because the barrier of entry is so small, you know?
It's just a computer and some internet connection and you can do literally anything.
Your phone camera or a 4K
anymore.
I'm old. A $60 4K, you know, podcasting camera that's gorgeous. I mean, I don't even really need the Shure mic the camera on that is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Cuts out all the ambient noise. But I mean, this is superior. It's the
It
standard,
looks good.
It
looks good.
and
Yeah.
it makes you look official.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes, right?
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to do a catch up after the first quarter next year and talk about what's going on with the industry. A lot of things are going to pop, including the thing we talked about with Warner Music and Pseudo and everything else. So be very, very interesting to see how the industry evolves next year.
Yeah. And it's kind of fun as well because we are not really a part of it. So we're just first row viewers
Yeah.
with the popcorn because it doesn't really affect us.
No, that's just not our audience, really. I'm not looking. I have no illusions that I would ever have like 1 million streams of a particular song on Spotify, because that's not the kind of artist I am. Other places, sure.
Yeah.
Where I'm going to get 1 million streams is the content creator that has 750,000 followers and a post that uses my music in it. Yeah, my song just got heard 500,000 times in
Which
a
you can
week.
see in the frequency panel, by the way.
In a week.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've seen that. There's a Korean channel that uses a couple of my tracks, and I've engaged them and thanked them, and it's just freaking amazing how much traction it gets on there. So
yeah,
I mean, that's
YouTube has that as well now. Just a last note that they also now have the official artist channel, so you can see where your music is actually used.
Yeah, that's the thing. I gotta sit down with Rucker next in January, even if it takes a couple sessions. Be like, dude, you gotta show me the metrics and the reporting and everything else, because I mean, it's your fault. It evolves because of you. You're the one that encourages and requests a lot of those things on that platform. So kudos to you. Yeah, you're a co-pilot on the development of that tool and the improvements of it. It's really coming from an artist perspective.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
So that's fantastic. And it's another reason why I've made the decision that I'm going to make that move, because I know that you have your own interests at heart on there, which are in parallel to mine in the royalty-free space. So I know that whatever tools end up on there are going to be valid, usable, and value-added tools.
Yeah,
for me as an artist.
And the financial aspect as well, because they make money if you make money.
Yeah,
and that's why they're going to stay more innovative than DistroKid ever will, because they just pay for the service. Like, they don't really care how well you're doing.
No. Or if your stuff gets pulled down or whatever, like, nope, they're not. You want to triage anything? Good luck.
What? $30 a year?
Yeah.
We go fuck.
Yeah, find a contact on that platform that'll help you out, because there's nobody. We don't have staff for that. Forget it.
Yeah, right.
Well, this has been great, man, and I absolutely look forward to seeing what is in store next year with you, my catalog, and everybody else in this space. So, looking forward to it.
It's going to be a good year. I hope.